You could say, well, he didn't have no adversity really. Well, he didn't. He got drafted in the OHL as a very high pick, and he had to go play junior B. That's adversity. He could have came back one way or another, but he chose and he worked to do it one way. If you look at his life now, you say, oh, he was one of the best players in the OHL, was a first round pick in the NHL, and he's playing in the NHL right now, and played on the World Junior team. He had a pretty good career. Yeah, but he chose to also. Had talent, chose to, and took the adversity.
What time did you get home?
2:30.
Oh, not as bad as you thought. Not great.
No, not great. Well, if it would have went into like overtime, double overtime, then there was this traffic.
So I was taking the train home. Did I tell you there was a fire on the way home on my train?
You what?
There's a fire on the train.
On the train?
It was unclear. I don't think it was on the train. It was like on the tracks in front of the train or something like that. So I had a 2-hour delay of my train in Aldershot, Ontario. Have you ever been to Aldershot? Never heard of it. I saw Aldershot. I'm like, Aldershot?
It'd be like Oakville.
Just passed. Yeah. It was one of the stops. Anyhow, a couple late nights for the boys. The Brantford Bulldogs are looking good.
Playing good, man.
Looking good.
Awesome.
What's the other series at? When's their catch?
That's tonight will be game 4, and it's 2-1 Kitchener. Yeah, as of tonight.
And they're in Windsor tonight.
Last night, Brantford made it 3-1 Brantford. They play tomorrow. But by the time this comes out, it'll be old news.
True. Yeah.
But
yeah, it will be old news.
Great hockey.
Charlie had a sick goal. That's a sick goal. There you go. I was just saying before about the skating. Remember, like a while back, we were talking about the skating stuff. It's awesome. So first thing I wanted to talk about today, I have a few things to talk about. We mentioned last week that we were going to do a little walkthrough of like the draft picks and kind of where they end up over time. I think so. We're still going to do that. But first, the OHL made this. Well, I don't know if the OHL announced it or people are. It's in the news. It's in the papers. That the kid that applied for exceptional status didn't get it, the 2011 kid. And I haven't read like a lot of the media stuff about it. I just know we were talking about a little bit this morning and stuff like that. So I wanted to touch on that a little bit. Whether people think he should have or shouldn't have, I don't really know what the general thoughts are about it. But nonetheless, the kid applied and didn't get it. So I want to get your thoughts. It doesn't have to be about the kid in particular because I know you haven't seen him play, but just your thoughts on the exceptional status thing in general and how it's like progressed, and then with the like whether you feel like you would agree or disagree with the decision, basically. So just go along those lines.
Okay, so agreeing or disagree with the decision, I have no clue because I've never seen him play. I've only heard in the last month or two of the hockey season that he was a pretty good player. Born in Texas, I think it was, or Florida, or something like that. Yeah, defenseman.
Yeah.
So, I'm not a big fan of exceptional status, anyways. So, no, when they do this, I know that it's not just about hockey. They do a psychological thing to make sure that you can move away and fit in rooms and I guess all that kind of stuff. But I'm just personally not a big fan of it. I feel like there's probably a couple exceptional status players that they're so exceptional that it actually made sense, which would be, I think Sidney Crosby might have been, pretty sure, in the Quebec. Maybe he wasn't. I don't know if it was around. No,
he wasn't. No.
But so
Tavares, I got the list here. I can listen for you.
No, I don't care.
Okay, go ahead.
Tavares, McDavid. Those would be. I mean, it kind of makes sense, I guess. But like even like my own personal client would have been Aaron Ekblad, and I don't know if he needed to be exceptional status, like that changed, like he was so good that's what he needed to be. What I think, I don't know why this isn't a thing. I think a logical step, instead of throwing them into that level of hockey, would be to allow them to play at a junior B or a tier 2 level instead of making that huge jump, because that's a stepping stone, right? This is just me though, right? I mean, maybe there's a reason that they do it. Don't know. But to me, it's just a huge step for, you can argue, well, yeah, it worked out for McDavid. Yeah, well, because they're exceptional. It would have worked out no matter what. So I'm just not a big fan of it. There's for reasons like, we always talk about people being in a rush in hockey. And it's like when you do the exceptional status, it's fine. But you're in 3 years, you're in the exact same place as you would have been 2 years, right? Like I don't know. It's just I'm not a big fan for many reasons. Like, I don't know. Do I go into it or?
Yeah, like so I'm gonna list the guys just because you can see that it's not like clear cut that all of them were actually exceptional, and like maybe at the time in their market they were, but now that it's played out,
But the biggest issue about that is like I don't know like how many times you've seen someone at 12 look like they're the greatest player ever, and then you don't hear of them again at 14. How many times you see a guy that's 16 years old that's incredible and they don't develop into a really good junior player? How many times you see a guy that no one's ever heard of that ends up being an awesome hockey player that plays in the NHL? Like, I think at 14, 15, like, I mean, the basis is there, the basics, like the foundation you can see, but like there's so much growing to do
right?
on and off the ice.
So basically, you had John Tavares, which he was super dominant in junior, and then went on. He's had a really good NHL career.
Awesome.
Ekblad, same thing. Harder for a D.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's hard. It's not as clear cut as a D of like what exceptional means. I think, but I'm sure they have their whole process. McDavid seems like for sure. Sean Day, right? He played, so he ended up going 4th overall in the draft, and then I don't
Great
think
skater.
does he play?
Yeah, he played in
Like, is he minor pro
American
now?
League maybe last year. Played a couple of NHL games.
Joe Valeno.
Yeah,
So he was
like that would
exceptional
be-
status to the Q in 2015, and so but him, like, I don't know anything about him at all, but he's played in the NHL for a few years now, but
Yeah.
he hasn't had like a
Exceptional status type of
right, what you'd
career.
expect,
Right.
And then Shane Wright, he still was he up full time with Seattle this year? Connor Bedard, Michael Misa, Landon DuPont, and those are kind of guys that still remain to be seen. But I think I get like I think I generally agree. It's like
Well, we talked about it kind of last week, like when you said Tortorella, wait your time will come, or wait your turn or stuff, and it's kind of the same thing. It's like it's okay to be really good at where you're at, and if you're exceptional, but that's the gap I just don't like, because like Hockey Canada's got this thing where you can't play, you can't go to junior B or junior tier 2 early. But if you're exceptional status, you can go to the OHL. Like, to me, the more logical step would be to play at a tier 2 level, because it's not the OHL or the CHL, but it's a step up with older kids. And
you could do that back in the day, right? Like, I know, like Sean Mather was saying, I don't know if it was his draft year or whatever, but he was playing junior.
yeah, they used to call guys up at 14 if you were good enough.
Yeah, because that does.
That's what I don't like. There's so many rules, and the problem that I would have, like if my son was one of those people, like, or if I thought he was, let's say, which he was never, but the thing is that, like, I think as parents, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, but I think right away you're putting a target on your kid's back, right? Like that, because it has to somewhat come from the parents to apply for it, right? I'm pretty sure. So, like, in order to put that's laying out there, like, I think my kid is, and of course you've got guidance from agents and stuff, but again, that's the thing, is that would be a great question to ask if you're talking to an agent, is like, is this for you or for me? Right? Does that, because if you have an exceptional status type player, that's good for you. It's good for me too, but it's are you doing it for your reasons or mine? Like, but I think that's where all the psychological tests come in and stuff. I think those kids that do it have a pretty good head on their shoulders and understand what's up and all that stuff. But for me, it's just, I don't know. It's just be really good at where you're at, because you got to be 18 to play in the NHL anyways, 18 to 19. And
but even if you look at it in isolation, like I was actually talking to an agent about this specifically, because the way that they were talking about it, because some of their players were maybe in that conversation, and he was just saying, like, these guys, they're not exceptional status. He's like, they're really, really good, but they're not exceptional status. Like, exceptional status would mean, like, if we use this year as an example, if you played a year up, then you would need to be better than every other 2010 born player going in the draft for sure. Like, it has to be like a unanimous decision. Like, you're by far the best player in the year up.
But to me, that's not exceptional yet. That's just you might be the best player in the world at that age. It doesn't make you exceptional. It just makes you the best. Right. Exceptional is exceptional. Like this, you've never seen this before.
For sure. So even if you just go to what I was saying of like the you're the best player even for the year above you, you're by far the best player. Um, even if that were to be the case, maybe you get it, maybe you don't. But I think a lot of people think about it just like, if you're really, really good at an age, then you could go for exceptional status. And it's like, that's not even what it really means. So even if I don't like the exceptional status thing, even by the definition of it, I don't think people think about it in the right way. I think it's just, is this kid really good playing a year up, or is he really good for his age or whatever? It doesn't, but it's not, that's not really what it is. It's like, there's guys that are going to get drafted in the OHL draft this year that there was no 2011 in my mind that was better than the kid that I think is going to end up going number one. And I watched the kid play a bunch of times. Yeah, right. Like the kid was unbelievable. So if I thought of any other younger kid, even though they're awesome, like they're great players at their age, it's like I still don't. It's not clear to me that they're better than that guy. So then, how is he going to jump to be in the exceptional realm? And I just feel like a lot of the dialogue from people who maybe I don't know, maybe you just don't know, or it's really hard to zoom out, kind of thing. Like you don't really consider that stuff with those other kids at those age groups.
The other side of it, just like I've said this before on a podcast, is like it's the hockey. The hockey is one thing. Like you could have the name Bobby Orr, Eric Lindros, John Tavares, Connor McDavid, whatever. You could have those names and be that type of player. But I think what a lot of people miss is that the actual best thing for your 14, 15-year-old kid to move away and be in an environment where you're hanging out with 20-year-old kids. Like there's different conversations. It's okay. Hockey, you got to grow up fast, but like you're a lot of the part of your youth is gone, and you're learning different aspects of life that are not necessarily necessary at 14 years old, right? Like there's, and you know, I have to talk about it on the podcast because we keep it clean here, but there's, you know, a 20-year-old boy or teenager athlete is talking about a lot of different things than a 14-year-old boy is, right? And they're doing things that 15-year-old kids, 14-year-old kids probably shouldn't do or see. And like, just for example, if it's drinking your beers on on a weekend off, it's like when you're 17, 18, you can, 6, whatever the age is, you can maybe sip a couple, or you do what you do on the weekends and get over it, and you have your mind's a little bit, a little ahead. But when you're 15 and you can say, well, they're protected and they're not around it, well, you don't know that for sure. And for me, that would be one thing. Just there's a lot of talk and maturing and stuff that I would have a red flag about. And the thing is as a parent, like no one loves your kid like you do. So I would be very hesitant on letting my kid move away at 14 years old, but that's me. That's me. But I just think there's a lot of things out there that outside of hockey are more important. And then but it turned out that Connor McDavid and John Tavares turned out just fine. So maybe I'm the dummy, and Aaron Ekblad turned out just fine. But I just don't know if it was ever necessary.
I think that's my thing too. Is like, was it necessary?
Yeah. And then, like you said, it's like exceptional means exceptional. It doesn't mean you're really good for your age. It means exceptional, and like I don't know. It's just I just couldn't get my head around that. I don't think if someone said this is what we think of your son, you should go apply for this, I'd be like, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Well, so this kind of,
I'm not in that situation, so
yeah, but this kind of tails into the, I guess scaling it down a little bit out of the exceptional realm. We just finished up not our like mine, but the junior camps are starting to, their mini camps or whatever. Every junior team's kind of different, but a lot of the camps are finishing up their mini camp. Some teams only do one camp and whatever. But we had like Leamington and Chatham around here, the junior A and junior B camps that I went to watch a little bit. So I'm thinking of those. And I wanted to talk because there's always like a lot of conversations from the players and the parents and the coaching staff and all that stuff about, who made the camp, who didn't, who got to go to the All-Star game, who didn't, who is going to make the team and who isn't, and what everyone's thoughts and opinions are about the camp. And so like what I wanted to maybe do is get some of your thoughts or talk about more from the team lens when they're running the camps. So when they're running a mini camp, or even if it's just one camp that they run and they pick their team from that, whatever it is, I kind of want to look at it from the team mindset to try to provide some understanding to the players and families about what the camps are, what they mean, and like some of the decision making that maybe goes on behind the scenes that you don't see or understand. So to start, if I had to ask you the question of, if you go to one of these junior camps, a development camp, a mini camp, or whatever camp you want to talk about, what is the camp for? Like, what is it? What is the purpose of the camp? If you're from the team lens looking at it, like, why are we putting this camp on? How would you answer that question from like the team side of it? Just like in your opinion.
A lot of it is sales, like to get people to understand what the league's about and stuff. So like I know from the CHL level, the mini camps are once you draft your players and you have some invites come in, it's to get it's kind of to take a look, like to gauge, but it's more of an information. They do it in the NHL too, right? It's more of information, getting them to know the organization. So like they say in the National Hockey League that when you go to a development camp, that no one's really watching. They just want to get you familiar with the organization, and you might learn some stuff like nutrition. They get an idea what your body weight is, your body type, and they can maybe funnel you into some good direction. But it's not necessarily evaluation. I would say that in those junior camps, it would be kind of the same thing. So, like I know the OHL, they draft, and then within that week, a week or two, most of the teams bring in their prospects for a development camp, and like a lot of them don't do any skating. Actually, some of the NHL teams do that too. They don't do any skating. It's just to get to know the organization. So you go to the OHL or CHL team, and you may or may not go on the ice, but it's about teaching them the way. And of course, if I'm looking at players and they come in and they don't know that they should tuck in their shirt or just fall in line with things, you kind of can pick on some of stuff like that. But they're young, right? But it's really information. Teach them what the organization's about. Make them feel welcome. Get their jersey. You can say this is the family that you're in right now, and this is what we're all about. And then the next phase would be to give them hope. Right now, that first mini camp is usually not much, but when the main camp comes, it is a place where you can compete for a position on the team. But having said that, there's very, 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 very few positions for especially the younger kids. I've seen more often than not now the kids that are just a couple years old, like looking at around 18, that have a little bit of more maturity, have a better chance of making the team, especially now that the NCAA has opened up some of the doors. The 18, 19-year-olds actually have a better chance of making a club. So, and then like for the junior B, junior A, it's I think part of it is because the borders are kind of open with that too, is you need to get a certain amount of people out to look at. Not everybody, because people know who's who in the zoo, really, when it comes to the players. But you're trying to get, your favorites from whatever you can that might be hopefuls to make this team at some point. And the rest of it might be to look at kids for the following year, but not really. I think you might have a clue because you still got a year to play hockey. But what you have to understand is, in order to have a camp, you need to have bodies. So in order to have bodies, you need to get whatever you can. So like, there's a line where you probably cut off the age and the. But the reality is, for a lot of these kids that go to the camps, it's just a camp. It's many times a fundraiser for that junior team.
Yeah. So
just the truth.
But this is good because this is what it is. Because so for again, if we're describing it from the team side of it, like from the parent side of it, from the player side of it, they think they're going to try to make the team, which can happen. It's not that doesn't happen.
No, 100%. Well, and as a player, so let me just interrupt you there. So as a player, you never go to one of these things thinking it's a fundraiser. Right. You always want to, like, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You always want to play, practice, work out, whatever, as if someone's watching you, and it matters because it does. And if you make an impression, that you have a chance to make an impression. So, but if you're at a camp and you're a year too young to enter the league, you can't make the team. So all you can do is make an impression. And the second part of that, it gives you an opportunity to see what a junior camp can look like, right? So you're going somewhere where you don't know many people. People are from different places. and some guys are really big, some old, all that kind of stuff. Like it's a really good experience as a hockey player
Yeah,
to
and so
understand that.
it can be both things. Is my point. It's just it can be a fundraiser, but it can also be an opportunity for you to make an impression. But if I stick with the team side of it, to your point, most of them already kind of have a clue of who the guys are that they want to look at. But there's two kids on my team this year that went to Chatham's camp, and they weren't necessarily in the conversation right away. But after I was talking to Rich a couple of days or after the first day, and they were like, "Man, they really like these two guys," and those weren't two guys that I would have thought. So it happens. It happens, and so they are looking at the guys and whatever. But just to be, you need to understand what it is from the player and the family side. So then you go. Usually, what happens is at least at the junior level, they'll have their teams. Oh, even at the OHL, then they'll have their red and white game or their All Star game or whatever it is. And a lot of the families can get upset about who made it through and who didn't, because especially locally, it's a lot of the guys you play with. If you go to an OHL camp, at least it's kids from all over, right? So you can't really do a one-to-one comparison all the time. But at the local junior level, it's most of the guys you played against or played with, and you might think I'm better than this guy or I'm not as good as this guy or whatever it is. And so when you get into that situation that they move on, there's more decision making that goes into who moves on than just who the best players are necessarily, right? So for me, I'm looking at the All-Star game that the Chatham team had, for example, or that the Leamington team had, just because those are the camps that I went to. And they have a lot of competing things that they have to decide on who's going to get in for whatever reason, right? They're not just looking for one certain type of thing, right? There's reasons for why they're having certain kids, certain players. They want to keep relationships up. They want to keep optics up. They want to keep basically they already know the guys that they kind of want to have anyways. So when they're filling in the rest of the spots, you kind of want to balance so that people know that if I come to this camp again next year, they're going to look at me fairly. It's not just whatever. So there's a lot of different math that goes into it. And I don't know that people necessarily understand that part of it. It isn't as simple as they pick the best players all the time, because the reality is most of the guys that are there are not making the team anyways. So if that's the reality, then they don't necessarily need to pick the best players, because if they did have the best players, all of them aren't going to make it anyways. And they kind of already know. And that's just like the honest truth of what's going on, I believe. Am I off base by saying any of that? Or
No, and I think the other thing you got to look at is like even if you are a really good player, that means something, but it might not be the piece of the puzzle that team needs, right? You got to look at that too, right? You got to look at it's not just about if you have all forwards that score can get you 20 goals or 40 points each, that's great. Can they defend? Can they rough anybody up? Can they check? Can they play a system? Can they translate the game into, oh, I don't need to score right now. We have to shut a game down. Like, are they teachable that way? Defense as well, right? So it's like you need puzzles you need a piece to the puzzle. So you might be one of 5 players similar to you that there's not a piece for 5. There's only 3. So you have to have something else. That's why you might see someone that you would definitely say, I don't see how he could make it over this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy, but he's a piece to a puzzle. So he might be a guy that is going to be on your 4th line that checks and is a team guy, and it's something that you need that a parent might not understand because they're not running a team. So that would be one. And then the other side, the thing is that even when guys do get cut or make a team or whatever, you have to understand that junior hockey is not minor hockey. And people that do it for the most part, I mean, every level of junior you get lower, there's maybe a chance that what they're looking for is less than what the higher levels would be. Okay, so like you know what I mean, like from a scouting perspective and coaching, like it's probably less than what the CHL and college have to offer, but they do evaluate on and they're looking at what they need and what they want. And when people get upset about that, it's like you can't tell the team that they don't know what they're doing or they should have drafted this person or should have went this way and done this thing because you're not the one running the team. And then you have to ask yourself, it's like, how often did you scout hockey to make your opinion count? So if you see because like I'm looking at it always from a dad's lens, right? My lens is all those lenses. And sometimes if I look at things through my dad's lens, my son's the best player in the whole world and it's not even close. But I'm being honest, like that's true. Like when you take the dad lens off and you look at it from maybe a different perspective, then you can start seeing flaws in your son's game. And that's probably the lens that most people are looking at. So when my kid goes out and has a shift where, let's just say something that a lot of people might not see. They might not see a back check where he just lifts a stick and knocks a puck enough so they can't make a play. The other team can't make a play. And then gets into open space, finishes a hit, makes a smart decision to dump it in and get off. And I could sit there at the end of that shift and go, that was a good shift. But not everybody in the rink was watching number 23. I was, because that's who I was watching. I'm watching other things too, but I'm like, okay, that's a good shift. Tick those boxes off. But just the coach might not have even seen that shift.
Yeah, exactly.
He was looking at something else. So,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So the only additional thing to that, because all that's awesome, just from these two camps that I'm aware of, and this is something that I know the parent and players don't think of or aren't thinking of, some of the best guys that were at the camp also didn't go on to the All-Star game or the red and white game or whatever it is that they call it for the team, because they're already going to go to a different team, and the teams know that. And they're like, well, why am I going to put this guy in the game when I know that he's not going to be here? Right. So there's a bunch of spots that would have already also been taken. So when you're looking at, you're comparing, let's say your kid to this kid, and you're like, well, my kid's better than this kid. It's like, well, but neither of you might have been there anyways if they were just taking the best players. If they were just taking the best players, because even those guys that are going to go to another team probably, they would still love to stay and play in that game. I know that for a fact. Like two of them in particular, I know who they are, and they wanted to play in the game, but they understand, like, yeah, I'm not prioritizing playing on this team particularly. So if I'm going to not be on this team, then why would the general manager
for you so you have a great day?
Yeah, exactly.
Life,
exactly.
Right. Your way when you're not going to be part of it.
Exactly. And at the bottom end, it's the same thing. It's like, even if you're a really good player and you're just not ready, it's like, well, I'm not going to put you in this when I know that you can't play here. So let's say you're the best defenseman and they say, well, I already have 5D that are coming back and I only need one. And I know it's not going to be you, because even though you're good, you're not ready, and I'm going to take this kid. And your buddy who's the same age as you but is a forward, he does get to play. And you're like, well, I'm better than him. But that's not how they do the math, right? So I think my point of this, I don't want to beat it to death, but just to give some perspective on how some of these things work, just because I know everybody's going through it right now. So I think that's maybe some timely comments, I guess, from you and I. So anything else on that before I go to my draft thing?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so
I would say this, if the junior camps and all that stuff is all great, if you feel like you should, or it's a time to go and try out or to give yourself a chance, look at the positive of it. Like, you always go there to try to work to make a team, make an impression, but like it's the experience, the peripheral experiences that you can get that can be really beneficial in the future. You go there and you challenge yourself to be the best guy on the ice. If you challenge yourself to not back down from the older guys. If you make an impression where people say, you're really good and all that kind of stuff, and it helps your confidence, I think that's a really good experience. But if you're going there just to hope to get a spot, that's not a real great thing either. The other thing I would say is that, and this is true that a lot of people don't really understand, is if you're a really good player that deserves to play junior hockey and should be playing junior hockey, you probably won't have to go to these mini camps before the season starts, because people will be knocking on your door or calling you and really asking you to go out. So that's the other side. And it's like we talked about with agents. A lot of people say, do I need an agent? It's like, well, you could ask that question a lot. If you're asking the question, or how come other guys have an agent, I don't, where do I get one? The question is that you haven't been really on a lot of people's radars. That's the answer. So you'll know when you should consider getting an agent, or if that's an actual thing for you, when you have people that have clients that are doing very well in hockey and playing at high levels, and these people are calling you because they see potential in making money off you. That's the only thing that they care about, right? So in junior hockey, it's like if you're one of the sought after players, you're going to hear from. You won't have to really apply to places. You're going to hear from them.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to do two things.
Okay.
We're going to go through all of the picks from the 2021 draft for the Guelph Storm. And then we're going to go through all of the second round picks of the 2021 draft.
Oh,
So we're going to do both because I think that's fun for you. The reason I'm picking that draft is because that's when Charlie got drafted, and I know you'll know a lot of the players. And now it's been long enough that you can kind of see where they're headed, though it's still incomplete for a lot of them. But the reason I want to do this, and I think this is interesting, is because it'll show people how different the paths are, whether you're pick 1 to 15 in like the first to the 15th round, or you're all from the second round, how like different the experiences are.
okay.
So
this is Guelph.
We'll start with Guelph. Okay, so the first round pick for Guelph in 2021 was
Cam Allen.
Cam Allen, 3rd overall. So he got drafted to the NHL.
5th round of Washington.
That's right, 5th round of Washington. He ended up playing this year with Hershey, and he's on the IR. But he did sign with Washington. So he signed it. So that's a first round, 3rd overall pick. He got drafted in the 5th round of the NHL, signed, and now he's playing in the American League. And he's so that's a first round pick. Their second round pick was Charlie Paquette, and he's now playing for Brantford. He got drafted to Dallas in the 7th round as a second round OHL pick. Got drafted in the 7th round of the NHL to Dallas. Hasn't signed yet. 3rd round pick was
Chase
Coughlin.
Yeah.
Correct. 3rd round.
Yeah.
He's played all 4 years in the OHL, and he's going to Bowling Green. Not drafted to the NHL. That's a 3rd round pick. Do you recall the next one? 4th round.
Was it Jake?
It was Jake.
Jake Murray.
Jake McRae. Okay,
McRae.
4th. This is now where it'll start to get more interesting. Okay, so 4th round pick to Guelph. He played 28 games in the OHL, played 10 games of Junior B, and then stopped playing hockey. That's a 4th round pick. Okay, so
Really
he hasn't played.
Too.
Yeah, really good player. He hasn't played since 21-22. Next one I mentioned last episode is Jack O'Donnell. He was their 5th round pick. 6'3", 190-pound forward. He played. You know how many OHL games he played?
I would say 0.
He played 0 OHL games.
What was the overall pick there?
The overall pick, like
does it
in
show?
the round? Yeah, it shows, yeah. 82. 5th round, 82nd overall.
82nd overall.
Yeah.
So top 100 in Ontario.
Yeah, 82nd overall. So he played for Elmira, he played for Listowel, 3 games in the BCHL, and then came back to the GOHL. And so he just finished out his last year with Listowel. And so nothing here about like a scholarship, nothing about Canadian university commitment, like nothing. So there's no like next step, which again, we're not throwing any shade, just showing you the different paths, right?
Yeah, when you look at that, let's say the first 3 rounds, first of all, you got Chase, Charlie, and Cam. I'll start with a C. Anyways, so that's top 60 in the OHL, like in Ontario, like roughly. And you would think, okay, if I'm a top 60 in Ontario, that's pretty good. It is. It's really freaking awesome. That means if they took 3 hockey teams in Ontario only for that age group, you would possibly be on it, right? So that's pretty good. So you would have some pretty high hopes for hockey. And then when you get to that 4th and 5th round, in this case, it's like, wow, you're still a top 100 player. And you would think, okay, here's my career, right?
Yeah, exactly. Do you remember the 6th round pick? 117th overall for Guelph, 2021. Aiden. It's a goalie. Aiden
Adamowski. I believe his brothers play in the OHL, I think.
Right? So
that's a fairly early pick.
As a goalie, 6th round? So same thing. How many OHL games do you think he played? 0 OHL games. He played 1 year in Caledon, GOHL, 18 games. 23-24 played for Toronto Patriots in the OJ. 22-23. 23-24 played 1 game and then stopped playing. Done. 6th round pick to Guelph in 2021. Do you remember the 7th round?
Is it Zach?
It is.
Sandu?
Yeah, 122 overall, 7th round pick, Zach Sandu. He's a D, 6'2", He went from Guelph to Oshawa to Brantford. So his track is interesting. So he played his first year junior B in Ayr. Then he played 10 games for Guelph. Next season played almost entirely with Guelph, but 13 games in junior B. His third year played 28 with Guelph, went to Oshawa. Fourth year played with Oshawa, and then this year got traded to Brantford, where he's finishing out. And it doesn't say
been
that.
to a couple NHL camps, been to Detroit, been to Vancouver. He'll get another one. I'll take 2 seconds to talk about Zach. So like, obviously good buddy of Charlie, good friend of with his dad, and Zach was interesting because he was I'm pretty sure he signed with Guelph that first year because he had a good camp and the potential was there. But there's a guy that wasn't flashy, right? And he still doesn't. But he blocks every shot. He's rough and tough, hard to play against, defensively sound, team guy, great guy, glue guy, all the good things about him. But what I like about this, because I saw it up close and personal, is that first year as an underage, like that's a 7th round typically doesn't make it anyway. So like took the direction from the team to say, you know what, we'd like you to play junior B in Ayr so we can keep an eye on you and maybe get called up for some games. And that's what happened. He got a few games in. But he played in Ayr and he embraced it, right? Played there, listened to the coach, liked the team, really did what he could, and then went to as many practices with the Guelph Storm as he possibly could. The following year, he was making the team, but they loaded up on D and they had to make room for him a little bit, right? And so he played like a lot more junior B, but he went there like, pissy. Oh, not pissy, but I thought this is my chance. But he went down, he was a good soldier. Started with Guelph, went to junior B, came back to Guelph. And did it like just, this is part of the process. No complaining, just worked really, really hard and just kept playing his game. And then there was a numbers game with the defenseman. I know they were trying to make a deeper run or whatever it was with Guelph, and Oshawa needed D, and they were kind of rebuilding it, and then they moved him to Oshawa, and that's where he really blossomed. And he got lots of ice, and he just continued to do what he did. But it's like if you would have told him that you're going to get dropped, you're going to get sent down, you're going to get brought up, you can get sent down the following year, then you're going to get traded. Like some guys wouldn't see that coming. But this guy is just a great lesson. And if you believe in yourself and you want to do the work and you don't want to complain and don't get too far ahead of yourself, just do the work and keeps himself in great shape, everything is going to work out just awesome for Zach.
Yeah,
and he's tough.
Hondos.
Yeah.
Hondos. Do you recall the 8th round pick?
No.
Ben Moldenhauer.
Okay.
He centerman.
Yeah.
5'11", 180. He played 0 OHL games. Played 3 years of junior B. Did fine. Half point a game. Looks like he was the captain for at least one of the years that he was there. And then stopped playing after 23-24. Nothing further after that. That's an 8th round pick.
That you can tell, right?
Yeah. I'm just going off elite prospects also for everyone. So maybe some of the details are wrong. That's all I can go off of because I don't know a lot of these guys. But 9th round pick, remember?
No.
Christopher Bridges.
Okay.
So same thing, defenseman. So he played in AAA in Quinty, played U18. So he would have been he's a, what did I say, 8th round? 9th round. 9th round. So 9th round, so he played U18. So now like this is where you're seeing kind of what I said last week of your first 3 rounds probably going to play. The next bunch are probably going to play junior. The next bunch now we're looking at U18. So now we're at a 9th round pick. He played U18 in Peterborough. And then he played in Ayr. And then he jumped up to Coburg. Played in Coburg for the last several years. And then he got traded partway through this year to Haliburton.
Yeah. So went junior B and then moved up to junior A his last couple of years.
Yeah. And so 0 OHL games. No OHL games. Went U16, U18, junior B, junior A. Okay, that's a 9th rounder. 10th round is another D, Jack Moffat. So this is 10th round, 197. No, yes, 197. Okay, so same thing, 10th round. He played U18 in Waterloo. Played 7 games in Ayr in his U18 year. Went to the CCHL, played Ottawa Junior Senators. Then he went to the Q and played 15 games for Quebec.
Oh, good. Okay. got somewhere.
But then he dropped down to junior C and played for
Oh boy.
Paris Titans to close
No
it
kidding.
out, 23-24, and didn't play after that.
Huh.
So his last year playing was 2023-24. Not playing anymore. That's the 10th rounder. Okay. 11th round, David Elmy. Here we get interesting again. So we're at an 11th round pick. So he played Mississauga Senators U16. Looks like he played a year up, actually. Mississauga Senators U16, and then the next year played Vaughan U16, but that was the COVID year. 21-22, still kind of COVID. U18 Toronto Nats. He would have got some games there, but it's not. Doesn't say anything. Then he jumped right to Junior A for St. Mike's, OJHL. Played 3 years there. So first year, 22-23, had 21 points, 51 games. Second year, 2023-24, had 81 points in 56 games.
At what level?
Junior A, St. Mike's Buzzers.
Good.
24-25, 74 points in 56 games. And he got a Division I scholarship to Canisius.
Oh, nice.
And he played five games this year for Canisius. So he would have been
So
an in-and-out guy.
He seems like that's your classic case of a late bloomer.
Right?
Or a kid that, bloomed late or got serious later or just stuck to it.
Yeah.
Good for him.
So that's 11th round.
That's good.
Pick 202, right?
Awesome.
Interesting story.
Awesome.
They had another 11th round pick. Do you know who it was?
No.
Braden Gillespie.
Oh,
yeah.
There you go.
Braden Gillespie. So Braden, goalie, obviously. First year he went right to junior B. No, sorry, that's not true. He played U18, Vaughan Kings U18. The next year went to Ayr, and he played 25 games up with Guelph. Then he played the full season with Guelph. Then played a half a season with Guelph and went to Brampton, and he got a scholarship to Union College. So he played there this year as an 05, which is kind of interesting. And he played 14 games for Union College, which is interesting.
Well, there's another interesting thing is like, so the goalie, they typically bloom a little bit later too, but there's a situation where if you're serious about it, like you don't look at where you are today, you do the work, right? So he came into a situation where the goaltending seemed to have been struggling in Guelph that year. And injuries, I forget exactly what it was, but they basically needed someone to back up. I believe it was Patrick Lever, who was a really good goalie. I believe this is what it was. I might have my years wrong. But he came in and he was lights out the nights that he played. And when they brought him up full time, he played very, very well that year, and it earned him a spot in the OHL at 18 years old, 17, 18 years old. So, yeah, and then you got 3 years of the OHL.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So now the thing that I want to point out about this is that Braden Gillespie was drafted in the 11th round as a goalie, pick 207. If we recall, their 6th round pick was also a goalie.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And that guy didn't play at all, right? So there's another interesting story. It was like, Guelph, maybe they thought that this 6th round guy was going to be their guy one day, and it turns out that Braden did whatever he had to do, kept working, and then they ended up taking him.
Yep.
Right? So.
Yep. And he had an opportunity and seized it.
Absolutely.
He got called up. It was an emergency call up, more or less. Let's see how he does. He's doing okay in junior B. Let's see how he does. And he had a lights out game. Well, we'll get another opportunity. And that's all you really need to do once in a while.
That's right. 12th round pick, Parker Bonsignor.
So his dad was an NHL player.
Was he?
Yeah, Jason.
So he's from Rochester. So this guy played in Connecticut. Ended up playing. So this is an interesting story. This is like your classic jump around guy here. So he played in Connecticut, Buffalo Stampede in the USPHL, Welland Junior Canadians to the Niagara Falls Canucks to the New Jersey Rockets in the same year. So he went Welland, Niagara Falls to New Jersey Rockets. So Junior B to the NCDC in the same year. The next year played for the Northern Cyclones. He only played 9 games. Maybe he got hurt or something. And then 24-25, Aurora of the OJ for 7 games, Cornwall Colts for 13. So went OJ to the CCHL. And then this year played for the Powassan Voodoos and OJHL.
Played a lot of hockey.
Been on a lot of teams, right? And these guys, this happens, man. Like I played with a bunch of guys that are in this situation that just kept jumping around and could never really find a good fit for whatever reason. Maybe it was them. Maybe it's a circumstance. Who knows? But that's another interesting one. So that's the 12th round pick. 13th, Nathan Phillips. So he's playing now in the OJ, but he played same thing. Played Burlington U16, Bulldogs U18, got called up a little bit to Welland, and then ended up playing in Hamilton in Junior B. Went to the AJHL for 7 games, then to the Toronto Junior Canadiens OJ. Played last year with Toronto Junior Canadiens, and then this year played in Newmarket of the OJ. And he had 73 points in 50 games this year. So it doesn't
Puts up some numbers.
Yeah, put up some numbers. Doesn't say anything about if he's playing like Canadian University or college or anything like that. But that's that. And then last one is Zach Christie. He's a 14th round pick, and he is also so another one 14th round pick. Played 21-22 U18. He had 52 points in 55 games in U18. The next year he played 8 games in Pickering of the OJ and then didn't play anymore after that. 2022-23 was his last year playing. Maybe he got hurt, who knows. So again, I'm just looking at showing you from rounds 1 to 15 in the OHL, the varying experience. The only thing that is kind of consistent is the top 3 rounds, basically. Those guys are playing, they basically had a full OHL career. After that, mixed bag. Their 4th round pick didn't play.
Yeah. And you'll see kind of the similar thing if you go team by team. You'll see a kid, you'll see a top 3 round guy that excels, or you'll see one of those guys just absolutely flop. And you'll see someone typically in the mid rounds or later rounds that has a career that is as good as one of the top rounds.
Yeah,
and
for
ends
sure.
up being a great player.
Okay, so now I'm going to do...
Neat, man.
Yeah, so now this would be like a little bit of a different perspective, but same kind of idea. Second round, the full second round for Charlie's draft.
Okay.
So I'm just going to go through all the picks in that round 2 of 2021. So the 20th overall pick, so the first pick of the second round, was Bronson Ride.
Okay.
Do you know anything about Bronson Ride?
Yep. He went to Windsor, right? First.
Yep.
And then he got traded to Niagara. Then he got traded to North Bay.
Damn, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and he's a big 6'7",
He is
6 foot whatever
6'7".
D.
Yeah,
and he was never drafted, but he did sign with the Vegas Golden Knights this year.
that's pretty impressive. That was pretty good. That's the exact story. Okay, second round pick.
So I'll just put that in perspective because it's not my kid. Same round, not my kid. So there's a kid 6'6", 6'7" when he got drafted, 20th overall. Okay, I might have some good stuff here, right? So look at the road. 5 years in the OHL. It took 5 years to sign. Never got drafted. So the mindset has to be pretty strong to keep going and say, like, I believe myself, man. And this has got to work out at some point, right? So with that 6'7", did people not see? So he probably had some internal things that said, okay, I got to get better at this, and this. But look, it worked out. He got a contract. Now it's the next step, right? Okay. Anyways, 21.
Okay, pick number 21 was Teo Artichuk, Erie Otters.
Yeah.
Do you remember him?
Yep.
Any background on him or no? I'll give. If you don't know it, I'll give it.
No, I know the background.
Okay, go ahead.
I know every hockey player.
that's why this is fun. Go ahead.
Yeah. Drafted as a pretty high skilled guy, right? 21. Skilled guy, smaller guy. Played the first year, I don't know, not a lot of points. Played the second year. I think he was done after the second year with Erie. Then he went to the OJHL.
Yep.
And
correct.
he had really, really, really good numbers in the OJHL.
That's right.
So that is something there that you can look at. This is a pretty high skilled guy that worked hard. Didn't have a ton of size, but like 5'9", 5'10", right?
Mm-hmm.
And
5'10".
and he wasn't like he played soft, like he played pretty hard, but like the difference of staying in the OHL and having, what was his numbers the last couple of years in the OJHL, which is a good junior league.
This past season, he had 108 points in 55 games.
108 points.
Yeah. And his 23-24, he played 5 games with Erie before he got cut.
Yeah. So there's something, right? Like I know what it is, but like whatever. I'm not gonna, what it is to play in the OHL is you have to understand that it's a team. It's you're a piece to a puzzle, like we said earlier, and skill. Like obviously, the kid could put points up at 108 points in a good junior league, so something's there, but something is definitely missing. So in my mind, that person had either was given, here's what you need to work on and chose not to, or couldn't do it, or didn't get it, right? Or just when that jump to the OHL was just too much for him. Because it's a big jump for most people.
For sure.
Like not even big, huge, humongous.
Yeah. So I guess my 2 cents. I'm sure there'll be some common themes here, but so he couldn't necessarily stick in the OHL. Goes to the OJ, does really well in the OJ, and he's going to University of New Brunswick. He's going to play U Sports there,
Good,
which is great. And this is where he probably got drafted as an early second round pick, thinking road to the NHL. And
you're definitely thinking there's a chance.
And it seems like that's not going to happen now. But he is still going to get some really good opportunity out of hockey, right? This is still a positive story, even though it's disappointing. And from his perspective, it's probably a disappointment. But like you can still get a lot out of it here, you know. So he's going to go to a decent school, still play really high level hockey, and who knows what happens if he takes advantage of that, right? Next one, 22. This is round 2, pick 22 was Juan Copeland.
Yep.
Remember him?
Yep. First round of Niagara, I believe. Or 22nd overall to Niagara.
Yeah. Went to Niagara.
I don't think he could figure out the OHL. That's all. That's what it was. But he played Niagara, then I think he may have went to the USHL.
He went to the first year. Yeah, he went to the USHL. Then he went to the BCHL, and then he went to the Null. So he went from, this is a kid that he played Honey Baked. Niagara for the first year, Niagara for the second year, got traded to London. Played 4 games with London and then left to go to the USHL. Played in Lincoln. Then he went to BC, Alberni Valley, got traded to Blackfalds. Then this year he started in he played 2 games for Blackfalds and then he went to the Null. Played for New Hampshire, only 1 game. So he only played 3 games this year. So something else happened. Next was number 23, also to Niagara, was a goalie.
Joey Costanzo.
That's right. It was Joey Costanzo.
Yep.
This is actually kind of impressive. I've got to give you props here. We're really showing your knowledge. I like it. Yeah. So anything you want to say about Joey?
Yeah. Really good freaking goalie. And to go 22nd overall, you're a really, really good goalie with a ton of potential. Made it the first year. Got traded to Windsor for whoever. And he's been the starter for Windsor for basically 4 years now, 3 years now. And he's a really good goalie. And he's I don't believe he's been drafted. But I'm sure that he'll get something post OHL.
And he's 6'1", which you think is big as a goalie. That's not that big.
No, it's not that big.
So it's actually pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive there for a goalie going that early. Okay. Now we're at pick number 24 to the Barrie Colts. Chris Grisolia.
Yep.
Chris Grisolia. Any background on him?
Yep.
I love this. I think this is sweet.
I think he was Marley's when he was drafted, but anyways, he played in Barrie, like kind of a 4th line role. Got traded last year to Kitchener Rangers.
He did. So anyways, this guy's at St. Mary's, so that means that he would have went early, right? So instead of playing if he didn't make it as an overage or he chose to not.
Yeah, so he was with Kitchener, then I think they released him earlier in the year.
Gotcha.
Yeah, like before camp started. So that just goes to show you again, like he played 4 years in the OHL. It was, he had his role, did his role and all that kind of stuff. But then when you get down to it, it's like to be an overage player in the league, there's only a few spots. So you have to really have something outstanding in your game that sticks out. There's a kid that was probably really good in midget, like not taking anything away, right? Like it's okay to be a really good minor hockey player, but like how it translates to the next level, there's so many layers of learning and improving and being tested, right?
Yep, that's right. Pick number 25 of the second round was to London.
Yeah.
Do you remember who?
Yeah, it was either Cowan.
It was Cowan.
Yeah, Cowan.
Easton Cowan. So he obviously got drafted to the Leafs. He is signed. He played in the
first round of the Leafs.
Did I say second round?
No, I'm just saying
first round.
I'm just saying
first round. So second round pick to the first round pick to the NHL. He signed, played 66 games with Toronto this year.
Okay, so go back to his progression. This is where you gotta maybe look at what London does and see if it's right. So he was a 25th overall pick to the London Knights. And where did he play? Kamoka.
Yeah, Junior B. Yep.
So straight away, they said you're going to go play in Junior B and get better. So a lot of people would be very their ass would be sore. Because if you're a top 25 pick in the OHL, top 40 pick in the OHL, you're a pretty good freaking player. That means like if for every team there's 2 spots, you probably have a good chance of making it. Then London said, you go down to junior B and make sure you get better. The following year he comes back and he becomes an NHL first round pick. So he improved his status. But it's about how you go into these things, right? So you could go into the you could rush and maybe nothing happens, or you go and take the steps to make yourself better, and long term that panned out well for him.
Yep, for sure. Pick 26, also to London.
Bonk.
It was Oliver Bonk.
Yep, same trajectory. First round pick in the NHL, but that year they sent him down to junior B in St. Thomas.
No? So I don't know how the timeline here lines up, but 21-22 he played Carleton Place U18.
Oh, okay.
Is that right?
Yeah, and then he came to junior B.
And then he came to junior B in 21-22. So, but yeah, played his full year, played 10 games with London, up, and then he ended up going up after that.
And he was a first round pick in the NHL.
Yeah, first round of Philly.
Won a Memorial Cup.
Yep.
And they're both, and then he was drafted to Philadelphia.
Yep.
Now and again, it's like it's where you are, just be really good at where you are. It doesn't matter. And you think, if you really think about it, both those guys are first round NHL picks, you would think that they must have been. You might actually think that, well, they should have been in the OHL because they would have been that good. And obviously they probably could have played in the OHL, but was from the Hunters' perspective, it was better for them to mature somewhere else and be part of the team and learn and grow and get hungry and learn the defensive side of the game and all the things that help you be a pro.
Yep, for sure. Number 27 is Nick Sema. Went to North Bay.
Yeah.
6'3", big boy. So he was North Bay, got traded to Saginaw, played in Saginaw when they won the Memorial Cup, and then he just got traded to Ottawa to finish the year out this year, and he is going to University of Michigan.
Yep, not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad way to continue on.
Not bad. Next from 28th pick, Ottawa, Luca Pinelli. So Luca Pinelli,
3rd round pick to Columbus.
Yeah, third. So it's very impressive. 3rd round pick signed, and he's playing in the American League this year. He was another guy. He went straight shot, played in the OHL right away, and then now is in the American League. Played 3 games with Columbus this year, which is cool. Olivier Savard, number 29.
Defenseman, went to Saginaw, traded to Kitchener, and then Barrie.
Yeah, so now he didn't play. He played 23-24 and then didn't play.
Not enough.
That. So it was just
decided to pursue a career.
Yeah.
I think it was in police.
Really? So he just was like, yeah, I'm good.
I think he said, you know what, I'm not a hockey player. I'm not going to be a hockey player. It's time to go on and move on with life.
Yeah, that's a high pick, man.
Huh.
That's a 2nd round pick.
Yeah.
Right? And he played 23-24 and then just said, I'm good. All done. And he's a pretty good player.
Yeah, just good solid day. But the thing is, like, I'm glad you said that because, like number one, was it, I don't think I could be an NHL player, so I'm done, or it's too hard and I don't want to make the commitment, I'm done, or I don't like it enough because, that's what I say to people, it's careful what you wish for because this is different. It's not minor hockey. This is a job. Maybe you just say, you know what, I'm going to get a career somewhere else where I don't have to be this committed. I don't know. There's a lot of reasons, right? Yep.
30th to Sarnia, Ben Chaim Lalkin. Remember him? So same smaller guy.
Didn't play a lot of games.
No, so he Toronto Junior Canadiens in his draft year played 37 games for Sarnia in 21-22, and then dropped down to Junior A. Markham Royals. This year he only played 2 games. Or no, sorry. He played 2 games in 24-25 and then didn't play after that. Same thing. High pick, man. High pick. So that's 2 in a row out of that year. The next pick, number 31, 31st overall to the Guelph Storm.
My favorite player ever.
So Charlie Paquette.
Yeah.
So he was another guy, straight shot. Guelph, played in Guelph his first year. He played all 4 straight through. Undrafted for his first year. Drafted in his 2nd year of eligibility, 7th round. I think that's the first example of that we've talked about, where he got drafted in his 2nd year of eligibility to Dallas.
Yeah, it would be.
And now he's finishing up, obviously, the playoff run with Brantford, which you guys know all about. 32 to Ottawa. Do you remember who it is?
Foster.
It is Foster. Cooper Foster. Anything to say about Cooper Foster?
Good career in Ottawa. Drafted to Pittsburgh. He'll be back in the draft this year because he didn't sign. So he's back in the draft. So he's a free agent now.
Okay,
Good player though.
So in his first year, he played Sioux Thunderbirds NOJHL.
Oh, right.
So he didn't jump right in. Played 14 games for Ottawa. Got drafted out of the Sioux. So stayed at home and played junior his first year. Then played 14 games with Ottawa, and then he played the rest of his time. So this year he had a point a game, 66 points in 66 games, 71 penalty minutes. Not bad. Plus 34.
Yep. Good player. Good team.
Next, after that, number 33. Do you know who it is? Flint Firebirds. I got. Yeah, okay. Do you want a hint?
One hint.
He's since been traded from Flint. Not a good hint?
No, I forget.
D. 6'3". 190.
Petrovsky.
It is Petrovsky.
James Petrovsky.
That's
Went to
so
Owen
funny.
Sound and the Peterborough.
Yeah. Owen Sound and Peterborough is assistant captain. He also undrafted. Doesn't say anything about going to a school or something next year.
So maybe it hasn't been released, or maybe he doesn't have anything.
Yep. So like this is interesting though, right? There's another second round pick, 6'3" defenseman, right?
Yep. For sure.
Next to Kingston, 34.
Oh, his name was he didn't play. He only played a couple games. Is it Burns?
That's the next pick.
Okay. So this one would be. I know the name. I just can't think of it. What's the first name?
Mitchell. Also starts with a B.
Yeah, Brooks.
Yeah, it is. It's Mitchell Brooks. So same thing for him. He played 25 games with Kingston in his first year, played 45 in his second year, played 33 games in the OJ in his third year, 23-24 for Burlington, and that was it. Hasn't played since, according to Elite Prospects. The next one is Quentin Burns. So Quentin Burns, this is so interesting, man. One pick later, right? So the kid I just talked about,
100%.
drafted the same team,
Yeah.
played half of 2 seasons, and then went to the OJ and was done. Then we go to the very next guy. One pick later, Quentin Burns.
Third round pick to St. Louis.
Right? 6'2"
Signed a contract.
Signed.
Played the American League this year.
Yep. So he played the American League and in the East Coast up and down. Same thing. His first year, it says he played U18. Kempville 73's U18.
No kidding, eh?
Right? And then jumped into Kingston the next year. So that's pretty interesting. Actually, no, sorry. That's not right. His draft year would have been he played Kempville U18s.
Oh, okay.
Right. So sorry, I read that wrong. Next pick, we're almost done. Number 36 to the Sioux.
Marco Magnosa.
That's so impressive, man.
Goal scorer.
So impressive. So he's a right winger, 6 foot. He got drafted to Tampa Bay.
Yep.
Unsigned.
Second time around.
Second time around as well. 7th round pick. Right? So that he would have went in Charlie's draft then. Very interesting. So this past year, 89 points in 65 games. He made the jump right away. Played all 4 years. 5 years.
The puck in the net.
Yeah. 5 years in the OHL, 35 goals this year. And then it says going to Syracuse in the AHL. Yeah. Next, number 37 to Sudbury.
Second round pick to Sudbury.
Mm-hmm. Hint is he got traded.
Alex Asadorian.
Holy hell. That is crazy, dude. I've never seen this before.
No?
No. Your memory is unbelievable.
Yeah,
So
gotta know what you're watching, bro.
No kidding, man. So Sudbury traded to Niagara.
Yeah.
Finished
Traded to Barrie.
in Barrie, and then left to go to Chicago Steel.
Yeah,
USHL.
Barrie released him in near the trade deadline.
Yeah, so he played 37 games and went to Chicago Steel, but he has a scholarship to Yale.
Nice.
So heading off,
pants,
heading off to Yale, which is not a bad deal.
No.
So that's good for him. Second round pick.
Good for him.
And we got 2 more. Next one to Oshawa, number 38 overall in the 2021
His name
draft.
is right-hand shot or winger. Give me the first initial.
Just the initial?
Yeah.
Of the first name or last name?
It doesn't matter.
M. MB.
Buckley.
Yeah.
Matthew Buckley.
That's right. That's right. Matthew Buckley. So he first year, another one draft year played Navin Grads. Navin? I don't know how to say it. Navin Grads, then jumped Oshawa, played that whole time. And then this year he went to play at RPI. So he got a scholarship.
Good
Must
for
have got
him.
it last
That's
year.
another. You gotta have a brain for that.
Yep. Jumped to RPI. Played 34 games this year for RPI, which is pretty impressive. Second round pick. And then last one of the draft, or of this round at least, number 39 to Niagara. Oh, I thought you'd get this one right away.
Oh, Declan Waddick.
Yeah, Declan Waddick, another local boy for us. So he played same thing right away. Jumped into Niagara, went Niagara to Owen Sound, and then didn't make it as an overage this year. Right? They released him, so he went to Spruce Grove in the BCHL. So finished out his overage year in the BCHL. Doesn't say anything about university or anything else after that. But so that's the second round. So hopefully didn't beat it to death. Going through both.
No, I think
that's fun.
People might find that interesting.
I think
Maybe
it's
they
interesting.
Don't.
So I guess my point, we'll do this kind of to wrap it up. I guess my point is whether it was the second round that we went through or it was rounds 1 to 15, even though in the second round it's more consistent OHL experience, the end of the story is not that different than like.
Well, no, because like if you think about it, like to play professional hockey, to get a lot of those kids that in the top 40 right there would have thought, their mom and dad and their agents and everybody around them would have thought that I've got one of the best players in Ontario here, and that they weren't wrong, right? To get to the next level, that filter it starts funneling people and filters who's going to get through, and who's going to get through. Like for example, you take that Quentin Burns that was a second round pick to Kingston, right? Tough. Like I'm not saying he could scrap the best, but he was always willing to get his nose dirty, play rough and tough, and he stood out in a certain way. He was willing to do that, right? And then you could take someone else like I don't want to pick on anyone, but I just want to say like there's guys that didn't, that maybe haven't gone on or their OHL career was like really short. It's like they didn't figure out that they needed to do something different. So being skilled and good, and like the game changes, so you have to have an identity. You have to do something, or you have to tough it out, or maybe you just didn't like not getting your way right away. You didn't feel like waiting your turn long enough, and it was like, okay, I'm done. I don't want to go through this because I'm better than that. And it's like an ego thing, right? So there's a lot of reasons why people don't. Sometimes people make mistakes as well, but there's a lot of. If you're a top 40 pick in the OHL, like you were a really, really good hockey player. But that gives you the opportunity once you're drafted to do this again, to prove to yourself that I was worthy of that and I'm going to be worthy up to the next level. And then there's all kinds of things that come. And just because you're a first round, like if we went down, if we did the first round, you'd be surprised how many kids didn't even get through the OHL in the first round. And those are surefire hockey players. It happens every year. So it's like, yeah, it's good that it happened, but then we can go down to the 7th and 8th and 9th and 10th round. We're going to find guys that had really good careers, and they just attitudes right, or they worked on whatever they need to work on, late bloomers, all these different things. So there's a lot of interesting reasons why kids make it and why they don't. But the bottom line, at the end of the day, that, like I said, that filter, where you start off in minor hockey where everybody's the same age and you get a red jersey, a yellow jersey, a black, whatever jersey it is, you play for a team that has, what's called ESO or Shoppers Drug Mart or whatever, your local team that has the house league. Everyone sees their kid, he's pretty good. And then it starts filtering out. They're going to play A, triple A. Then kids start getting cut, less commitment, all that stuff. And it just keeps filtering down till you get to AAA bantam midget or U16, whatever you call it now, and then it's like real hockey comes in, and that filter just sorts you out like you wouldn't believe. Picks you up and spits you out. Nope, you don't have what it takes. No, you don't have what it takes. No, you don't have what it takes. Some guys will work and fight and do whatever they can to get through it. But then there's that big filter of pro hockey now. And if you think the OHL one was hard, this is where so this goes back to one of my favorite things to watch is. And I think it's probably the most important thing that most people won't listen to is that the early success is great. Like, it's nice. It gives you a chance to go through. But what I find really interesting is watching the kids that come through the league and leagues that don't face the real adversity, that never had to overcome, that maybe got ice when they, because their leash was long and stuff, as opposed to kids that had to work and say, okay, if I'm going to be good, I have to do the simple thing here, and I have to do it really well, and I might have to accept a role as this and this, and you know, they don't cry because something didn't go their way, and they get adversity, and maybe they get scratched as opposed to never getting scratched and all that stuff. Because at some point the adversity is coming, and I find, like, looking at this, sometimes it's just talent, but most of the time kids have had some adversity. Like, you look at Easton Cowan now, for example. You could say, well, he didn't have no adversity really. Well, he didn't. He got drafted in the OHL as a very high pick, and he had to go play junior B. That's adversity. Could have came back one way or another, but he chose and he worked to do it one way. If you look at his life now, you say, oh, he was one of the best players in the OHL, was a first round pick in the NHL, and is playing in the NHL right now, and played on the World Junior team. He had a pretty good career. Yeah, but he chose to also. Had talent, chose to, and took the adversity. And that to me is really, really important. And because you'll see, I can go through it, but I've never liked to center people out like that, because who the hell am I, and who are we to say that that's adversity and that's not? But there's some kids that had it fairly easy, maybe because they were big, maybe because they were good, but they just didn't quite get it. And they even got a leash at the next level, but it's like it's starting to go away, because when it gets real, it gets really real.
Yeah. I think zooming it down more from that, I think the takeaway for our demographic, because most of the people that listen to this will be the minor hockey, youth hockey, up to the draft year in U18 and all that stuff. I think my purpose for wanting to do this, one, because it's fun to hear you rattle off all the hockey players, but two, the thing you think is the most important is just not. That's the point. It is nice. It's good if it happens in terms of being drafted or playing in the OHL or whatever, but there's no guarantees of anything. So we get really caught up in what's happening right now today, because it's what's happening right now today. But particularly as the parents, you guys are the ones that can guide. And when the draft comes, because it's coming, or when you're at a junior camp or whatever, and you're looking at who made it and who didn't, and this and that, hopefully you remember this conversation of us talking about where these players are ending up relative to where they were drafted, because there's every which way to do it, and you're not guaranteed anything. Just because you're a second round pick, it's going to be the best day in the world that you're a second round pick to the OHL. Like, you got guys that played for 1 year and then stopped playing. There's no guarantee. And yeah, maybe your chances are higher. Yeah, maybe it opens up, gives you a little more leash or whatever, but that doesn't guarantee you anything. And so you can talk about it with all of your peers and everybody that's going crazy about the draft in particular, but we just explained to you with real examples of real players of what happens looking back now 5 years ago. And for the kids that are even younger than that, it's even crazier a lot of the times. It's like, guys, just try to keep this, I guess, frame in mind. And that's why I thought maybe
be good at where you're at. Be the best at where you can be, and be happy about doing it, and because like the opportunity comes for those that do that.
Yeah, for sure. Just having some perspective, I think, is the key there. So, okay, I think I'm good. Anything else?
No, I got to pee.
Yeah, me too. Okay, bye.